Well, there we go. I'm just going to have to say, this is my food, and I never had looked at food or thought about pictures of food all that much. I mean, one of my first jobs in New York had to do with Kroger and food and, varnished food and taking pictures of the food. But, this is some good-looking food, and my food looks better than your food. How's that? I mean, I want you to feel like, my food is really good-looking. I mean, I have to look at other people's food a lot. I never expected to be looking at pictures of food, but now I do. And here's a picture of my food. I mean, I could really get into taking some more. I mean, I ought to do more about this food, but it was pretty good. This is good enough. And I mean, for now, for right this minute, my food looks better than your food, and this is fruity food. Fruity food is what I'm going to eat pretty right soon. I'm going to eat this fruity food, and I love it. And I'm sorry, I ought to be getting a better picture of it. Let's see, let's move this down here. I need a little, hey, have we got any little soldiers to fight over the fruity food? Oh, well. Well, we don't have any little soldiers to fight over the fruity food, but it's good-looking food. About this, as I have grown to despise slavery again because of Ted Cruz being in the news and I having to see his ugly face one too many times, I was reminded of those craggy features so prominent on people like Bedford Forrest. They named some high school after him. And I was reminded of all the Confederate States of America monuments that are all over the South. If you don't live in the North, you don't know about them. But starting in the 1890s, the daughters of the Confederacy began putting up these monuments, and they did a fantastic job of creating a number of, all in a row starting in 1890. They put them up in Richmond, Virginia. And they made these people out to be like knights of the Round Table, so chivalrous, protecting women from the monster, the dragon, which was the black slave people that they brought over here in bondage and used as property. These Confederate soldiers of America, Confederate States of America, fought for slavery and nothing else. States' rights was always a cover for the subjugation and pain inflicted on other human beings for the benefit of other people. And this has gotten to be such a terrific situation in the United States, repetitive, that now very few people have enough money in their pocket to walk down the street, feel free in any way or shape or form. Behind me, I'm standing in front of this guy they call Silent Sam, this Confederate States of America monument put up here. Many of the people in North Carolina of young fighting age went off to fight for Lee and died for Lee and died for the Confederacy. Jefferson Davis was sort of an afterthought president. Basically, you had this well-dressed, traitorous pervert traveling on his traveler horse telling people that they were wonderful and that they needed to fight off the Yankees. Then you had many of these other generals out there. But this is a commemoration behind me called Silent Sam. And like all of these monuments, after 1890, one of the monuments, after the 1890 monument of Lee on some other horse, not his favorite, was put up there in Richmond. And then Davis, and then Jeb Stuart, and those other guys. But after that, the Klan succeeded more than ever before in attracting adherents. And the Klan in Wilmington, North Carolina, succeeded in destroying a duly elected government, killed many people. So now today in the United States of America, the Confederate States of America, are dotted from town to town with monuments like this to the Confederate States of America to make sure that if you're a Yankee and you are down in one of these towns, that when you walk around you look up to not anything to do with the Federal Union but these Confederates and their ideas were the subjugation, the aristocratic subjugation of all below them. They held out to young white men the prospect of owning black women. Black men, they held out to them that prospect, but they sent them off as cannon fodder, basically, from the North Carolina regiments. They weren't considered good enough, smart enough, aristocratic enough, like Virginians, who made their wealth off whiskey and tobacco. Pine tar, pine and turpentine was about it. North Carolinians were considered filthy and stupid for a long time, and they sure have gotten around to trying to prove it some more. But you listen to me. If I get my way, I'll turn around and I'll find a way to knock over every single one of these monuments to slavery that dot the South and make a mockery of any justice, make a mockery of the forgiveness and this idea of healing the wounds of the Unions in the South's war. We shouldn't have let those people vote. All they did was turn around and subjugate more and more people in the most evil manner. And this monument doesn't stand for anything but slavery and evil. So this here is Silent Sam, is what they call him. He's been here a long time. This is the oldest state university in the country, and it runs a town. This here erected says by under the auspices of North Carolina Division of the United Daughters of the Confederacy, aided by the alumni of the university. That's what that says. All those people killed, died, they were represented as chivalrous, and really what they did was fight and defend the institution of slavery, the ownership of people. I want this thing torn down myself. I hate it. I live as a federalized person in a state that in this state of North Carolina at this university. So there you are. You're forced to look up to this character. This character, Silent Sam, the whole issue being somehow mitigated by the fact that his cartridge belt and cartridges don't apparently have any bullets in them. So that's the story of what makes this somehow acceptable to people all over the country and the world. I don't know who you'd sell this to. It's really similar in a lot of ways to Nazi propaganda. This man and his cohorts so beautifully died in the service of slavery, the ownership of other people who were considered property and so powerful considered as property that the states of the South, the Confederacy, went to war, started shooting at Fort Sumter to maintain their what they called some peculiar institution, as if that was going to make it sound better. There he is. That's propaganda, baby. You gotta look up to that. And they got these all over the United States and all the southern states. This has
to the sons of the university who entered the war of 1861 to 1865 in answer to the call of their country, and whose lives taught the lesson of their great commander that duty is the sublimest word in the English language. You're fucking kidding me. Beauty and truth kind of stood out as bigger than that to me, but who am I? CSA. Confederate States of America. Our monument is here. Our monument is Silent Sam. Yeah. I hate that son of a bitch. I really do. And Lee, their great general. Their great General Lee. Their great General Lee. He was a well-dressed, traitorous pervert. You know, he was very close to his daughters.